And I'm Slavin. Hi.
And this is your Diamond Fork News.
Yeah. See ya.
So many different kinds of people, so many stories to be told, so many ways to say I love you. So tell somebody you don't know, 'cause we could all be friends by tomorrow. Maybe that's the way it ought to be. So just remember when you hop aboard this train, you'll never be without a family. Oh, love, alright. Come on, right? Gotta love.
Hey Diamondbacks, we've been in school for 3 weeks already.
And we started thinking, how are the 6th graders liking our school?
So we invited 6 of them to tell us about their experience so far.
And our 6 guests are Britlin, Maya, Sarah, Emmett, Emilio, and Ryder.
Tell me what it's been like at Diamond Fork so far.
The days feel shorter than in elementary school. I don't know, you're just constantly moving to different classes.
And that you have 7 different classes instead of staying with one teacher all day and going to like specialists for like 45 minutes.
At first it was really scary to like try to find your classes, but then like a couple days later it just kind of got easier.
What's been some of you guys' favorite subjects so far?
One of them has been art and orchestra. Those are probably my favorite.
I've been liking PE and lunch. Going outside has been really fun.
I've heard about Diamondback Days, but I'm not really sure what they are.
Diamondback Days are when you get really, really good grades, either A's or B's, and we get to do a fun activity. Some of the examples were Provo Rec Center, the movies, and classic skating.
I've heard about Snake Pit. What is that exactly?
Snake Pit is something that when teachers get answers from students about how they can make the school a better place. For example, last year, students wanted more microwaves in the lunchroom, and believe it or not, we got more microwaves.
We'd like to thank our 3 young ladies
And 3 young men.
for sharing their Diamond Fork experiences.
Hey Diamondbacks, remember how a couple weeks ago we had a mystery student?
Well, the mystery student was Noah Hall.
And the first person to guess him right was Milo Finkenthal. Congratulations!
Hey Diamondbacks, this week is Drug Free Week.
And we want to share with you some research.
And information about staying drug free.
Take a look at this map from the United States.
It shows by color the number of people who died by drug overdose.
The bluer the area is colored, the fewer people have died from drug overdose.
The redder the area is colored, the more people died from drug overdose.
Watch what happens in the United States over 20 years.
Overdose deaths climbed as heroin, long available in inner cities, turned up in rural communities. In a single year, more than 70,000 Americans died of an overdose.
Many of these overdose deaths happened the first time they experimented with drugs.
And if the drug users didn't overdose their first time using drugs, then they quickly became addicted to the drug itself. This research explains why.
To understand how reward shapes behavior, Robert Malenka simulates a famous experiment. A mouse is attached to a fiber optic cable and placed in a cage with 2 holes. When the mouse explores the hole on the right, a flash of light sparks a feeling of pleasure in its brain. At the other hole, nothing happens.
Yep, there he goes again, right now. We are learning machines. Our brains have evolved to be exquisite reward seekers, and that was important for our evolutionary survival. But that came with a price. our susceptibility to developing addictions.
Obsessed with that burst of pleasure, the mouse will probe the hole several thousand times over the next hour.
I mean, look at this. He's just doing nothing else.
This experiment revealed the reward pathway in the brain, primarily controlled by a chemical messenger called dopamine. Dopamine tells your brain to pay attention, that whatever it just experienced is worth getting more of. As drugs raise dopamine levels, they also alter the connections between brain cells, creating memories of euphoria that trigger fierce cravings.
The worst thing about drug use is that it actually changes the connections in your brain.
So you actually feel pain when you stop using the drug. Imagine what it would feel like if your body ached all over when you weren't on drugs.
People struggling with addiction soon use drugs to avoid the pain of withdrawal.
Withdrawals will make your bones ache. I couldn't leave the house because I couldn't take a step without soiling myself from the withdrawals. You couldn't talk to me. I'd throw something at you or bite your head off.
When opioids are abruptly stopped, stress hormones are released at catastrophic levels. This imbalance triggers the opposite symptoms of opioid use, including shaking, anxiety, pain, and intense dysphoria.
But pain isn't the only thing a drug user suffers when they try to get off drugs.
Drug users report that they stopped caring about anything and anyone.
Their motivation to do anything but use drugs vanishes.
This cycle of addiction, says Dr. Corey Waller, starts as the brain struggles to rebalance as drugs overwhelm it with dopamine.
When that happens, the body decreases the production of dopamine, and eventually you can't even get enough dopamine produced to get out of bed, let alone produce good relationships and good decision making.
To understand what happens to dopamine, Dr. Nora Volkoff has been imaging the brains of people with and without addiction to search for changes that occur with drug use. The number of receptor proteins, seen here as red in the brains of control subjects, are reduced in brains exposed to drugs. Fewer receptors means the brain is starving for dopamine.
Drugs interfere with your motivational drive. So imagine what it means to lose the motivation to do things, to just not have it.
And so anytime someone hears the term motivation, they should really supplant that with dopamine, because without dopamine, you don't have motivation. And so when we look at a person who is in the throes of an addictive disorder and say they just need to motivate, we're telling them to somehow magically make dopamine.
The sad part about it is none of us can just make more dopamine. You're about to meet a man whose drug use cost him his job and his family.
He was so addicted that he spent over $20,000 on drugs in less than 10 days.
My wife at the time went and seen her sister for 9 days, and I spent $21,000 while she was gone. I did lose my job. I didn't care.
The body has a drive for dopamine, and that craving flips them into survival mode. If you understand that this is about survival for them, you can understand why they steal 20 bucks out of your wallet, why they hawk jewelry from the house.
My habits was putting my wife and my daughter in danger. Finally, she just done what any mother would do, and they left.
That is how people become slaves to a drug. The good news is that none of us need to go through this.
Life is so much easier when you are free from drugs, tobacco, and alcohol.
As we leave you, Diamondbacks, here are some before and after pictures of drug abusers.
Never give up your freedom, Diamondbacks.